This also is a clip I've been wanting to go over since I've started talking a little bit more about abortion recently. This guy debates abortion publicly. Yeah, oh yeah, this is the same guy that was crying about library books. This is that guy. So the guy who also spends his time harassing minimum wage library employees also apparently goes to college campuses and whatnot and argues about abortion with people. Looks like a Steven Crowder type setup. But yeah, it's called Pro-Choicer Laughs and Insults, but has zero arguments. So I thought we would watch this and first decide if this title is even true. And if it is true, then maybe we can help out the pro-choicer a little bit.
Hi, what's your name?
Taylor.
Hayden, good to meet you.
Taylor.
Yeah, I know, I'm saying my name. Hayden.
Oh.
Yeah, good to meet you. Yeah, so what's your position on abortion?
Wow, awkward start. Yikes. Oof.
All right, well, quite frankly, I'm going to be honest, I don't think this is any of your business.
Thank you.
All right? I've been wanting to talk to you, one of you guys for a really, really long time. I don't know if you're going to upload me on my YouTube. I don't know which channel I'm going to be on. If I'm on YouTube, hi. If you decide to remove me, whatever. But, quite frankly, this is none of your business. You're on nobody's side right now, other than a couple of guys who already are anti-abortion. Right now, you're just making everybody on campus.
So this is one of those challenging arguments because she's technically right. However, it's just not going to convince anybody because it's a political contentious issue all the same that's hotly debated. Just like gay marriage. Is that really anyone's business? No. However, that's not enough to just shut down a conversation or an objection to it. They're going to just tell you, I don't give a shit whether or not this is my business because they think that it's killing a baby. So they're going to be like, I don't care if you say this isn't my business because I care about it.
There's not a single person you are getting on your side. Okay, personal beliefs aside, you are not getting anybody on your side by saying everybody's who's had an abortion is evil. Do you understand? This is terrible. You're making women feel awful. If there's somebody on campus who's had an abortion, they're hating themselves right now because of you. This is not okay.
Yeah, so obviously there's nothing evil about getting an abortion. I talked about this before, I'll talk about it again. We have a general understanding of when sentience begins. The philosophical conversation about personhood is a whole separate argument that you could make. But as far as sentience, around 28 weeks, that seems to be when most scientific communities accept sentience beginning. And most abortions take place long before that. You're not killing a person because no person has ever formed. There's no personhood, there's not even sentience. So all you're doing is preventing a person from forming.
You are on nobody's side right now, other than a couple of guys, couple of conservative guys who I'm not even gonna try to debate you about your personal beliefs. Everybody on campus right now hates you. Do you understand?
Yeah, so just real quick, first
Dude,
of all,
she's like, I hope you know that everybody on campus fucking hates you. Just like your father.
but what happens to my neighbors is my business. When my neighbors in the womb are being murdered by the millions, that is my business. And I'd also point out the same argument that you're saying that it's not my business is a very similar argument that those who are
again, my neighbors being murdered in the womb, what about your neighbors that are already people, that already have sentience?
is a very similar argument that those who were in the North in the early 1800s in the United States made against slavery. They said, the plantation owners all said, it's none of your business what I do with my property. Now they were wrong because humans are not property. They are humans who are made in the image of God and are valuable and have a right to liberty even when the state doesn't recognize it. So you're saying it's none of my business, presumably because I don't have a uterus, but I'd point out you don't own a plantation yet you can still say slavery is wrong. What do you think?
None of what you said has anything to do with what I said. And this is a really common...
I mean, yeah, it did. It did. It really did. This is why you just shouldn't take the it's not your business approach if you're going to debate publicly. If that's just your only approach, then it's not going to work because then they'll do just this. He's pointing to an example in history where something obviously wrong was taking place, but people said just the same, hey, it's none of your business. That's obviously how he said had to do with what she said.
I guess Ben Shapiro sort of thing with you type of guys. I'm not even gonna acknowledge that. I forgot that sort of argument that that's called. I don't know. I don't remember, but I know this is a common thing for you guys to just go widely off topic. You are on nobody's side right now. You're not getting like anybody on your side by calling me a slave owner.
I never called you a slave owner. I said you're making a similar argument to those who were slave owners did. Slaveholders said, you don't own a plantation, you can't tell me what to do with my property. They said that circle around us, we can oppress other people. Right now what you're doing is you're saying, Hayden, you don't have a uterus, you can't tell women what to do with their bodies. What I'm pointing out, though, is that just like in the 1800s with slavery, the blacks were being enslaved, where northern people's the blacks who were being enslaved in the early 1800s, they, just like everyone around here, have a right to liberty. And people in the north...
This is rough. I'm not gonna lie. Listen, if debate is just not your thing, just don't do it.
People in the north, like you, who said it's none of my business.
And yeah, exactly. Thank you, chat. That's also a great point, because it's a false equivalency. Because pregnancy is something that happens specifically to the woman, the individual. Slavery, you're talking about taking another person and forcing them to work against their will. Similarly to forcing a woman to undergo a pregnancy against her will. Because he has this weird, like, religious view that, like, the minute the egg awakes in the uterus, that means that it's now a human child. Like, because he has some weird fucking view and doesn't know the science about sentience and doesn't understand the very basic concept that, hey, it's not a person yet, you're just stopping a person from ever even forming. Because he doesn't get that, we get this crap instead.
You're making the same argument that slave owners did. Do you recognize that? You're saying just stay out of this? Again, early in the conversation, you said it's none of your business. But when my neighbors are being murdered, it is my business. Just like in the early 1800s when blacks were being enslaved, it was everyone's...
Why does he keep saying the blacks?
Do you have any response?
Okay, I'm sorry.
You got no response, bro?
No, I do have one. That's all.
All right, let's
I do kind of like how not serious she's taking him, like how she's just treating him like such a joke. Probably very invalidating for him. That's pretty funny.
I feel like there's a big difference between slavery and just some women getting an abortion. Sorry,
Yeah, thank you, Gaussian, and that's another excellent point and a great way of putting it. Her position is that if it's not your body, you don't get to control it, which also extends to his stupid slave owner example.
I'm sorry, no offense to you, but like that was really funny. The blacks, I'm sorry. That was a bunch of nothing. I'm sorry.
Okay, so can I point out again and try to stay with me this time? The argument's the same. Early on in this conversation, you said it's none of my business, correct?
Okay, yes, I said it's none of your business, quite frankly.
Okay, so you said it's none of my business. Why is it none of my business when someone is being murdered?
Because it's not even your body. And
Okay.
quite frankly...
It's also not someone being murdered. There's not a someone to murder yet. When you murder a human being, you're taking away their personhood and their experience of life. This is not what's happening when you simply stop a person from ever even beginning. And yeah, also, he doesn't even realize that he himself is advocating to subject women to a very challenging experience. I mean, being pregnant, first and foremost, is not easy. It carries with it a fuck ton of risks. There are a bunch of risks, even mental risks, associated with giving birth. These are the pro-lifers, but they are completely fine fucking up, even destroying people's lives if it means that they give birth. Literally, like, they don't care about the mother's life. They don't care about the fact that maternal deaths would go up if there was a federal abortion ban. They don't care about any of this. They're not pro-life. They're pro-birth. And that is literally all.
Like your like little slavery thing, I feel like there's a huge difference. You're ignoring like the whole, embryo isn't even a human being.
But it is a human being. If you Google when does human life begin, scientifically it'll say fertilization. You can keep laughing, but when you laugh, it doesn't make what I say untrue.
So again, this is where the philosophical discussion is really important. Yes, of course the fetus is human. Of course the fetus has human DNA. Of course, it's alive in the sense that it's growing. But in that case, since there's no sentience yet, it's really not that much different than a tumor that also has human DNA and is growing and is alive in a sense. But it's obviously not a person. So even the biological makeup, like if it has a biological makeup of a person, of a human, That is not the same as being a person, as actually having personhood.
What I'm saying is still true.
I'm sorry, but what you're saying is funny. I can't help it. It's like I'm in the circus right now.
All right, so again, you said it's none of my business, okay?
Dude, she's just clowning on him.
When slavery was going on, the people who weren't abolitionists said it's none of my business what a slaveholder in the South does to black people.
Okay.
Obviously, they're wrong, and everyone should care when human rights violations are occurring. Everyone should have cared in the early 1800s when blacks were being enslaved in America. It was Christian abolitionists who stood up and said, slavery is wrong because humans are made in the image of God and are not by
Oh, really? Christian abolitionists, huh? Gee. Well, I wonder, were there any Christian slaveholders? Oh, yes, that's right. Was there also a massive religious justification for the entire slave market? Yes, now I remember. Uh-huh. You don't get to take credit for abolishing slavery when your buddy boys and your God also were responsible for doing the slavery, for justifying the slavery. There are religious arguments you can read from that time period. Religious people using the Bible to justify slavery. I'm confused. Is this a debate about slavery or abortion? It's supposed to be about abortion. He made one little analogy, and now because he thinks that's a really strong point, he's like just repeating it over and over again instead of just asking her a new question and moving the conversation forward. It's weird. It's like he doesn't know what to do.
Slavery is wrong because humans are made in the image of God and are not by nature property and have a right to liberty even when the state doesn't recognize it. Really? Name me one abolitionist in the early 1800s in America who was not a Christian.
First and foremost, it's not surprising at all that the majority of people at the time would be religious one way or another, right? That's just not surprising. If Christianity played a role there, cool, good. Hey, I'm glad slavery was abolished. But let's not forget that Christianity also played a role in slavery.
I can name you plenty that are Christian. William Lloyd Garrison, Harriet Tubman, Frederick Douglass. In Britain, William Wilberforce. These are all Christians.
Yeah, so again, at a time in which the vast majority of the world was religious, it's not surprising that also there were Christians here as well.
I'm telling you, it's just true. The vast majority of people in the early 1800s who wanted to abolish slavery were Christians. That's not refutable at all. It's just factually and historically accurate.
Okay, can I go back to the beginning right
now?
now?
Go for it.
Nobody is on your side, and that's all I'm gonna say. You are not making any friends.
That's a fucking shitty argument. Sorry. There's just no nice way of putting it, okay? Even though I'm, on her side politically, that's a stupid, shitty, dumb argument to make. You're not... to be truthful, she's the one who's not convincing anybody. Even people that are on her side are cringing when she says this.
Do you understand?
I do. Can I point out once again?
No.
Early in the 1800s, Christian abolitionists, people like you would say, no one is on your side, you should just stop. But they didn't, did they? They kept fighting for their black brothers and sisters who are made in the image of God and who are not by nature property. They fought for their freedom. They fought for their right to life. In the same way, everyone on this campus you said hates me. I probably would agree. Probably most people on this campus do hate me. That doesn't mean I should stop speaking the truth. It doesn't mean I should stop fighting for human rights. It doesn't mean I should stop fighting for those who don't have a right to life that is guaranteed under law right now, who are made in the image of God and are valuable.
Okay, I'm not even gonna argue with the whole you're pro-life thing. I'm just saying, you're not doing anything here. Comparing us to slave owners, that's not doing a single thing. And I don't want you to interrupt, I'm sorry, but you're not doing a single thing right now.
Get him.
Look who is
so
the only people who are here right now are women who are against you. Also fellow women who are uncomfortable.
Well,
you're not doing a single thing. You're not no. All right, you're not impressive.
The meme lord in me enjoys this. The intellectual side of myself recognizes this as terrible, terrible arguments. Again, just if people are uncomfortable, I'm sorry, but that is literally meaningless. There might be some people who are racist, uncomfortable around black people. Does that mean that black people shouldn't be around those people? No. So just her being like, you're making people uncomfortable. As long as he's not doing something illegal, as long as he's not doing something that's aggressive or threatening or something, setting up a table, interviewing people, expressing a political opinion, no matter how stupid that opinion might be, it might make people uncomfortable, but that's not enough.
You're not making any law changes. Nobody's gonna see this and be like, wow, he's speaking the truth. You guys are annoying. We do not like you. You make everybody's days worse. Your pure existence is miserable.
Come on, please. She just needs to say, listen, your existence is miserable. You should have been aborted. Please.
You are like a slime. We do not like you. All right? I want you to leave. And I know I can't technically make you leave because like freedom of speech or whatever, but we do not like you. We do not want you here. You can have any like belief you want, but do not call other people evil for it, especially other women.
Just real quick, my sign doesn't say that women who get abortions are evil. It says abortion is evil. The act of
cares?
murder is evil. If I had a sign that says murder is evil, I don't think you'd be coming up here. Abortion is murder. Murder is evil. I'm not saying the women who are getting abortions are evil. I will point out they're committing evil acts when they get abortions, but I will also point out they can be forgiven from their sins if they put their faith in Jesus Christ.
Forgiven from their sins.
Okay, we're done here. All right, it was nice meeting you, Hayden. I do not want to argue with like a Ben Shapiro wannabe, honestly. You seem like you're in
She's
your...
kind of fucking owning him, dude. As lame as her overall arguments may have been, her demeanor, she kind of just fucking handled this guy.
I wish you the best. I'm praying for you.
I like how she told him that she's praying for him. That was perfect.
Ma'am, if you're a Christian, you need to repent from your support of the murder of children.
Jesus fucking Christ, bro.
Why would he keep that part in? Jesus fucking Christ, bro. I love that little last part there. It's probably because he knows all of his viewers are going to be like, I can't believe they would use this bad language, this verbiage. Oh. Where it's like, okay. Where everyone else that actually has a spine is pretty much just laughing at them. If you want to support the channel, please consider becoming a member today. Members get early access to videos, access to all the stream VODs, and exclusive access to emotes as well. So if you'd like to support the channel, become a member today.